Buongiorno from Sicily. We're going to head to Palermo, Sicily's largest city and its capital. Palermo has been at the crossroads of trade, history, culture, and art for centuries, and today it maintains a lot of those traditions and heritage. We're going to walk through the bustling streets of Palermo, eat some of the best street foods in Europe, and learn more about this historic city. Porta Nova, Palermo. The name Panormos was given by the Greeks, but the Greeks did not come to Palermo. The Greeks came and settled on the east coast of Sicily. Over here, the Phoenicians came in the year 734 before Christ. Behold the beautiful cathedral here in Palermo. It took 700 years, 700 years from the 1100s to the 1800s to build this. It was actually built on top of a mosque because the Normans, when they arrived, the Arabs were here. The Arabs were here for about 200 years, and then the Normans ruled. There were 3 kings, and they left an immense impact on Sicily. The patron saint of Palermo, Santa Rosalia, but actually the church, the cathedral, is dedicated to Mary of Assumption. At one point, there were between 200 and 300 mosques in the city. Palermo really is the original melting pot. At one point, there were Arabs, Jews, and Christians and Normans living side by side, working side by side. It was really a golden age here in Palermo, and that spirit of inclusion continues today.
At the entrance of the area corresponding to the Jewish quarter.
It's not unusual to this day to see signs in Italian, Hebrew, and Arabic.
Yeah,
the fountain of the
fountain
shame.
of the shame, so they give the name to the square. Square of the shame. Official name is Piazza Pretoria, because the building on your left side is Palazzo Pretorio. If you stop a passerby, a person from Palermo, they will all refer to the square with the name Piazza della Vergogna. Why that? Why it was a shame? Look at the statues in front of you. Can you tell? Naked? They're naked. And I mentioned about Benedictine.
And that fountain was actually made in Florence.
Down at the level of the street, in order to avoid the stagnant waters. There was an architect, a very famous architect. He received the task to bring back to the Norman splendor most of the sites. People who visit San Cataldo, they don't visit it for its art, they just visit it for its architecture.
Quattrocanto.
Intersection of the Theater of the Sun, because the sun is always visible from the square. If you come back later during the day, and in another moment of the day, you'll see that at least one of the 4 corners is lit up by the sunshine. 17th century buildings, 3 out of the 4 are civil buildings, just one is a church, the one in front of you there, the Church of St. Joseph. And this intersection was made by the Spanish in 1609. If you've been to Rome, you might have seen another intersection there, which is a miniature of what you see here on a much larger scale. The square of the 4 fountains. The architect who designed this square took inspiration from the one in Rome. Here you also have 4 fountains. Each of the fountain corresponds to an ancient river of Palermo. On top of each fountain you have a statue of a god or a goddess. You have Aulus, Venus, Ceres and Bacchus, and they represent the 4 seasons. 1 floor up, you have 4 statues of Spanish kings. You have Charles V, King of Spain, King of Sicily, King of the Sacred Roman Empire. And then his son and successors, Philip II, Philip III, and Philip IV. Very creative. Yeah. And then the top floor.
Historically and politically, this is a very important building because it was the Royal Chapel and also the Parliament. The first Parliament in 1130. Inside the Royal Chapel is the Cappella Palentina, or Palatine Chapel. Commissioned by King Roger II in 1130, it is a breathtaking masterpiece of Arab, Norman, and Byzantine fusion. There are scenes from the Old and New Testaments, angels, prophets, and at the center, Christ's Pantocrator. It is truly one of the most remarkable religious spaces in the world. The period, the Norman period.
The Norman period,
was
yes.
a very important period here.
It was one of the most important in our western area especially. It was important all over Sicily, but we have a tangible witness in western Sicily. That's why we have 9 sites which were included in the UNESCO list in 2015, and they were all built under the Norman conquest. Now, only 70 years of kingdom, but the Normans left an enormous mark.
And it was King Roger. So we had Roger
II, so son of Roger I, Grand Count Roger. So we had Roger II, who became a king in 1130, and then his son and successor, William I, and then the third, the last Norman king in Sicily, officially William II.
And who was the most important?
Well, the most important, the 3 of them contributed to the construction of many sites, but Roger II was the one who first adopted a policy based on the tolerance. So he permitted the population who was already in the island to remain. You know, everybody
they could practice their own religion,
definitely, yes,
judge themselves,
and they could speak their own language. So imagine that official documents, edicts, and acts written back in those days were actually done in multiple languages, Greek, Latin, and Arabic. So Roger was fluent also in Arabic. Then the person who took over was the daughter of Roger II, so Constance of Hauteville. He was buried in the cathedral in Palermo, and Constance of Hauteville, she got married with Henry VI of Hohenstaufen, so Germany, so Swabian. The couple gave birth to Frederick II, the one who is Stupor Mundi, the wonder of the world.
And why was he called that?
Because he was an extraordinary ruler also. He succeeded, let's say, promoted our arts blossomed, he promoted a unified legal system. He was the last king who actually lived in the royal palace before the royal palace lost its residential function. You know, it became then a military garrison, and he was the first one who established the school, a Sicilian school of poetry. He was actually under Frederick II, Stupor Mundi, the wonder of the world.
He was king of Germany.
As his father was German and his mother was Sicilian, he had inherited Germany, so he ruled over Germany, much of Italy, and also Sicily for the next 54 years.
And
because
Israel,
he became a king
Israel.
Also, and he became a king at the age of 2.
A king of age of 2.
And then he ruled for the next 54 years.
When visiting Palermo, one of the must-do things is visit one of the markets, and we are going to do just that through Ballaro, which is my favorite. We're going to eat our way through the market, find out what's for sale, and meet some of the characters.
Prego ragazzi, buongiorno!
Everything you can imagine.
Spaghetti. Due! Andiamo madame?
So it said that the Arabs, when they started this market, they brought products from Ballaro and started selling it here. Spleen sandwich, anyone? There's the caponata with the olives and capers and celery, and of course eggplant. Arancina qui, and arancino in Catania. Their version of a ragu is a little bit different than what we get on the other side. A little less tomatoey.
Alta una carne.
Ragu? Caldo.
Aspetta.
Now that's what we're talking about. Sardines, shrimp.
Arrivano le panelle, ok, madame?
Panella around the world. Grazie.
There's the chickpea flour. The chickpeas were brought here by Arabs.
Garbanzo beans were brought by Arabs.
This is my favorite, octopus, grilled octopus salad. Ooh, look at the grilled calamari. Those are stuffed as well. Potatoes. Stigliole, intestine. Questa
questi sono sempre veal, questo è mangiabelli, spring onion, pork wrapped in a spring onion.
sounds good.
Like eating and drinking at the same time because the spring onion is juicy.
Eating and drinking at the same time. Gabby, for me, Palermo, I love the way you use the lasagna.
Yeah.
Because we had the Phoenicians, we had the Romans,
the
Greeks,
Phoenicians, Romans, Visigoths, Byzantines, Arabs, Normans, Angevin, Swabian, Angevin, Kingdom of Aragon. Then when the Kingdom of Aragon was reunited with the Kingdom of Castile, then we had the Kingdom of Spain, then we had the Austrian House of Savoy in it for a short amount of time. We had the Bourbons until unification of Italy that occurred in 1961.
And all of them left their mark, including all the foods that we eat here, like the cassata. Which
So the sponge cake, you see layers filled with ricotta cheese, completely covered with a shell of marzipan.
brought by the Arabs.
Yeah, exactly. Topped with cherry and orange zest, candied fruit. So this is our low-fat calories dessert.
Let's talk about the caponata, which is the quintessential Sicilian side dish with the eggplant, celery,
Capers, olives, onions, tomato sauce, originally done with the capone. Capone was a fish. But it wasn't a fish.
There's the octopus, the panella sandwich, because any excuse to put something in between two pieces of bread. And also gelato sandwich, if you think about it, with the brioche. Sicilians love their sweets. Gabri, this is really a great insight into the culture of Palermo, coming here and seeing all the products and traditional dishes. We also, the bartering that happens, the yelling, that all comes from the Arab influence.
The berries, look at that. Those are very special. You have the flour, then you have the fruit, and then you have the capers. And so.
Panini. This market just keeps going on and on and on.
Vabbè, facciaci un sgrassatore, Brucia, brucia, caliente, caliente! Brucia, brucia!
Burn, burn.
Ai, ai!
These are snails, right?
Snails. And that's how you have the spleen sandwich. Capuzza.
Palermo, European capital as for street food. The first one in Europe, fifth in a worldwide list. The first one is Bangkok, which is considered to be the temple of food. The second one is Singapore. Third one is Penang, Malaysia. The fourth one is Marrakesh, Morocco. And then we fly straight to Palermo. vessels that brought the plague, and the skull as she defeated the plague. She's a Mediterranean version of Rosalie.
All Baroque buildings everywhere you look. This is a great street to get something to drink, to eat, and of course to do a lot of shopping. And here we go, Teatro Massimo. One of the things I really want to do is see a performance here or in Catania. You have 2 hours in Palermo.
Yes.
Everything is very concentrated, so it's easy. So here we are, 4 corners for sure have to see.
Absolutely.
Then
you can see Piazza Pretoria, so the square of the shame. You will understand why once you come and visit Palermo. Then Piazza Bellini, where you can find 2 out of the 8 UNESCO sites included in the list in July 2015. Then you can go straight to the Palatine Chapel, the Royal Palace, where you can visit the Palatine Chapel. On the way to the Palatine Chapel, you might stop by the House of the Jesus, Casa Professa, which is an explosion of art and architecture left during the Baroque period. So an example, one of the masterpieces of Baroque architecture. And then you might decide to end up with Opera House, which is the 3rd largest opera house in Europe, after the one in Paris and the one in Vienna.
and the one other thing is the Cathedrale.
Definitely, yes. Also,
And also street food.
yes, street food is also part of our daily life. It has an historic and cultural value, but it was left a long time ago. It was left by the Arabs. So we have markets left by the Arabs. So definitely at the end of the visit, you might decide to stop in one of our traditional local markets, which is an experience that involves the 5 senses.
Love it. Gabri, thank you so much.
Ciao, ciao. Thanks to you, Eszter, as usual. A
Ciao.
brutal hug to each of you. Ciao, ciao.
So I came over here at one of our favorite restaurants in Castellamare to make a reservation for tonight. And the waiters are like, oh, these guys also watch our videos. And this is Franco and the gang, Miguel and
Suzanne.
they're all, that's pretty easy. New York. And you watch our videos?
Yes, all the time. All the time. I'm a big fan. I've been watching you for years. We came here years ago, and you introduced me to Sicily, so that I've been watching you ever since.
Do you know how happy this makes me feel? It makes it all worth it.
You guys are great. You guys are wonderful.
Grazie,
And I love
grazie.
your husband with the
Enjoy.
cigars,
Oh.
you know?
My
it's really
Alfredo.
cool.
Grazie. Enjoy your time, and thank you so much for watching us.
Yeah, this is really cool.
We love meeting our fans. Thank you so much for watching. It was so great to meet those folks from New York. And thank you for watching. And oh, thank you, Gabriella, for giving us such a great tour. Oh, and thank you, Alfred, for bringing me to Sicily. My gosh, 12 years ago. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this video, and we'll see you on another episode of You, Me, and Sicily. Arrivederci. Ciao. Ti voglio bene.